Hey y'all, it's Allie with the Spiegel Mom Scraps design team, and today I am making a fun starburst background with my Tombow markers. I don't use these a lot. I started to get into hand lettering and it's just a commitment that I'm not quite ready for, but I want to incorporate them more into my scrapbooking. So I'm making this blended effect. I've just colored onto a piece of packaging and then I use my blending marker and get the ink onto the pen, and I start at the bottom of the starburst and go out. So it kind of fades out into the white and it's super blended and it's so easy to do and it looks so cool. It was actually a lot of fun. So I'm going with every other opening here and just coloring it in, and some of them are going to be longer and some of them are going to be shorter. It really depends on how much ink you put on your marker. So here you can see I'm getting a lot of ink, so this is going to be a super long one because it had a lot more color on the pen itself. So it's fun to play around with this. I went ahead and did both sides, and I'm super sorry my camera flipped on me, but here I'm just showing you I am using a piece of a greeting card. So this month we're recycling things, and I'm recycling this piece of greeting card because it had this fun flower on it, and it's got clear like acetate behind it. So I thought it was perfect for making a shaker, and it's also a flower, so that goes along with our theme this month as well. So it's just too perfect, and I've been hoarding this little flower, not knowing what to do with it, and I just had this great idea to make it into a shaker. So I'm going to fussy cut around the flower itself, and it's kind of going to be my focal point in the center, and I'm going to put my pictures around it. So I just fussy cut this, and then I'm going to add the red line tape to all of the edges, and instead of putting another piece of plastic behind it, I'm actually going to use mesh. It just gives it a fun little feel. And I promise my camera angle changes very soon. But you can see I'm kind of trying to figure out where I want my pictures to go on either side of this flower. And I end up with this kind of design. And I've got my title weekend holding it all together right now so I can play around with it. That phrase sticker is actually from Amy Tangerine, I believe, but here I'm just adding a couple of white pieces of white cardstock behind my photos, just as a little map there. But you can see the only thing holding that together is the word weekend. So I've also got this fun orange paper, and I'm going to use it kind of torn on either side of my pictures. It's got some gold elements to it that I absolutely love, some gold triangles. And that paper is from Paper House Productions. It's their watercolor line. It's so pretty. I love it. So here's where I'm going to go ahead and actually stick down my pictures, and you can't see this very well. I'm sorry, I'm out of frame. I'm fussy cutting around my photos so that they don't show through on the flower. It's just something a little OCD that I do occasionally. It would have looked fine if you could still see the picture through it, but I just wanted to trim that off so that all you see is the flower. So from the same Amy Tangerine stickers, there's also a little white flower, and I'm just going to put that in the corner. I just kind of want to tie in my title and use kind of the same kinds of embellishments. And again, I'm just going to trim off the corner so you don't see the photo through the middle of that flower. So cohesiveness is kind of what I'm usually about. I'm a little OCD about it. So I started with this flower to begin with, and the red prompted me to use these photos, and the orange in the center of the flower is kind of what I wanted to emulate from the starburst effect, and that's why I kind of use this orange paper. So I'm also using the sequin mix called Sunny Days Ahead because it's these beautiful orangey colors. So I've added in all of my red line tape, and I just want to make sure that every single edge is covered in this tape so that none of my sequins can escape. We don't like escaping sequins. So you can see right there is a spot that didn't have tape. So I'm just going to go back in and add a little piece. Now the biggest pain about this red line tape is removing all of the backing, but it is so strong. I love it because once it's on there and it's set, I really don't feel like anything is going anywhere. So I will either use this or stitching or my fuse tool to make sure that no sequins are escaping. So now I'm going to add a few of these gorgeous sequins, and they're all flower shaped. There's a couple little yellow circle ones, but for the most part they're these orange flowers and these super shiny flowers, and they look really good with this layout, and it just really makes all of that oranginess pop. So after I get enough sequins in each of these little windows, I'm going to add my mesh to my tape. I'm going to peel off all those little backings to the tape and add my mesh, and then fussy cut around that to make sure none of the mesh is peeking through. And it's a shaker pocket. And also because the mesh is so thin, the tape will stick to my background, so I don't have to use a lot of extra adhesive for this. So as soon as I get all of these off and my mesh added, I can stick it down to my background. And then I go through and add little words kind of to tell the story of our fun weekend. It was a vacation that we went to the beach, and this was on the way back. We stopped at a rest stop. So I just put some little gold words in there to kind of match the gold from the paper. But what's fun is the sequin mix has these gorgeous big butterfly sequins, and they were just dying to be stitched on because they have two little holes, and then I added a little trail of stitching behind them, and it just gives such a fun effect. So I'm also adding these enamel stickers from Paper House Productions. These are so fun and so gorgeous, and they had some yellow orange ones that really went with my theme here, so it was very perfect. So once I get my holes poked, I can go ahead and start stitching my butterflies on, and also stitching the little trail. And I know that a lot of people can be a little nervous about stitching on their layouts. I also do machine stitching on this one. As you can see in every other, the spaces that aren't orange, I've done just like a light pink stitching through each one just to add more texture and more depth to it. It felt a little flat with just the markers, so adding this texture gave it a bit more of a pop on the background. And then I can go through and add in more stitching with the same thread for my butterflies. So like I was saying, I know people can be intimidated by stitching on layouts, and I certainly was when I first started. I actually started with the We Are Memory Keepers stitch roller thing. You rolled it out and it poked all the little holes for you, but you really don't need anything like that. You just need something pokey, even your needle, and draw out where you want stitching and poke your holes. It can be so easy. Just don't overthink it. I promise you can stitch on all of your layouts too. I just feel like stitching adds a really cool element to your pages and gives them a lot more depth. So once I get all that stitching done, that's pretty much it for this layout. I really love how it came out. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I did want to let you guys know that this is my last design team project for this term, and I have had the best time ever on this team. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my projects, and I really enjoyed hopefully inspiring you guys. So thanks again for watching. See you next time.